Just a reminder, these are all my opinions and are of course subject to change. This is all subjective after all. Discussion is always welcome, just don't be a butthead. You know what I love? Shitty remakes and reboots. For whatever reason, I can't seem to get enough of them on this channel. So you know what? We're going to look at another movie that has attempted to bring back characters we haven't seen on the big screen since 1997. It's Pride Month, so let's suit up and look at the Rainbow Warriors themselves with the 2017 reboot that is Power Rangers. I should say at the top of this video that I've never watched anything Power Rangers related before this reboot. Little Nopus wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers as a kid because I was told it was too violent. So let's see if this modern take on a classic franchise will be a fun time as my first outing into this world. The movie opens 65 million years in the past. In this opening scene, we see a Ranger team has been defeated and the evil villain Rita Repulsa is after a mysterious crystal to rule the galaxy. Bryan Cranston is playing Zordon, who is the Red Ranger and the leader of this current team. He buries the Ranger coins and tells them to find those who are worthy to step up and finish what he could not. Before Rita can kill Zordon and claim the crystal, Zordon calls in a meteor that crashes into Earth and sends Rita flying into the ocean and seemingly kills Zordon. Then we cut to modern day and our main character and local bad boy football star Jason is putting a cow in the locker room. I'm pretty sure that even in 2017, this wouldn't have been a very good prank. Nonetheless, the cops are called and after Jason attempts to escape in his truck, he ends up crashing and getting in some serious trouble for stealing a cow. This ruins his chances of being a big football star and now he's not only on house arrest, but also has to go to this detention after school program every Saturday until he graduates. In his dad's words, this is a place of weirdos and criminals. Here we are introduced to two of the other main Rangers in this movie. The first is Kimberly, and her whole story is pretty stupid.
Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else?
Not until 4.
She sent a private photo of her friend to the guy that her friend liked, and because her friend sent this photo to Kimberly and trusted her, for whatever reason, Kimberly decided to send it to the guy that she liked. In return, Kimberly ends up punching out that guy's tooth because... I'm not sure, actually. She was 100% in the wrong, but for some reason, when this is all revealed later in the movie, we're supposed to feel bad for her? Jason even at one point tells her that she did an awful thing, but that doesn't make her an awful person. But she kind of is. Kimberly as a character has the worst dialogue, the worst backstory, and has zero redemption by the end of the movie. Actually, during the final battle, she drops one of the bad guys on the girl's car and says, "That's what you get."
What?
You were the bad guy. You sent the photo. You called her names.
You are like Papa!
And because she cut you out of the friend group and kicked you off the cheer team, she's the bad guy?
Doesn't make any sense. Too bad.
Anyways, the other Ranger that we meet is Billy, the weird kid who gets bullied, which allows for our bad boy Jason to step in and save him from the classroom tough guy. Because Jason helped Billy, Billy asks Jason if he can help him with something else, and in return he can have a car for a few hours, and he can also make sure that his ankle monitor, for the whole house arrest thing, doesn't get them in trouble. Billy has Jason drive him to a mine 44 minutes outside of town because Billy thinks there's something there and he knows how to find it. While at the mine, we get to meet another Ranger, Zach, who is just casually watching people from his weird train caboose on a hill. Turns out even though this mine is 44 minutes away and outside of town, Kimberly is also there because she likes to hike the paths when she needs to clear her head, which I didn't even know gold mines had hiking paths, but I guess they do. We get the final Ranger introduction with Trini as she stands above them and yells at them for being stupid. The side of the cliff ends up collapsing, and the 5 Rangers each get their own unique, colorful coin. But because Billy set off a ton of explosives, this alerts the mine's security, and Jason and Billy take off in their minivan. During their escape, they pick up Kim and Trini, and then Zach jumps on their roof as they're approaching some train tracks. In a twist on jumping the train trope, they get T-boned by the train and then miraculously wake up at home. Not only do they wake up not knowing how they survived or got back home, but now they also have superpowers. So the next day at school, Jason, Billy, and Kim all decide to go back to the mine and find some answers. Now at the same time, Jason's dad, who is a fisherman, apparently, where is there a town where the main source of jobs and economic structure involves fishing boats and a gold mine at the same time? But his boat finds Rita's body and brings it to shore. We cut back to the trio at the mine, and Zach and Trini are also there looking for answers. A very poor power testing scene with more edgy and cringy dialogue takes place.
Run.
Until they wind up inside an ancient spaceship buried underground. This is where they meet Alpha 5, voiced by Bill Hader.
How long have you been waiting?
What's today, Monday?
Yeah.
Then 65 million years. I've been very lonely.
The only thing Alpha 5 does as a character is repeat everything that people say, and I think he attempts jokes, but honestly, the writing in this movie is like something from Riverdale.
That means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
So it all sounds like nails on a chalkboard, honestly. Even though Zordon was killed, he was uploaded to the wall of the ship or something, and the Rangers standing on these pads wake him up as a face in the wall. Zordon looks like a pin art toy, and the effects across this entire movie are just not good. He's upset because a bunch of kids found the coins, but he doesn't have a choice because Rita will be ready to destroy the world in just 11 days. Let's talk about this timeline for a second. We learned from Alpha 5 that there are 11 days for the Rangers to train and get strong enough to stop Rita from destroying the world. But the day after they find the Ranger coins, Jason's dad brings Rita's body in for the cops to investigate. She immediately kills the first cop she sees, and then we don't see her again until the Rangers are done with all of their training. Now, through some investigation skills called Wikipedia, it says that the Rangers trained for an entire week, so 7 days. There's a big training montage and becoming friends section, and then when it's all over, it cuts back to Rita like no time has passed. Yet clearly, the movie shows us that the 11 days are almost up. So why did Rita need 11 days if the moment she's brought back from the ocean, she can kill a cop and start her big evil plan? Stupid. We are given the history of what happened to the Ranger team from the start of the movie, and it turns out there is a super powerful crystal inside the Earth. Rita is trying to form Goldar, which is a giant gold monster. It's exactly what it sounds like. And with him, she can get the crystal and destroy the universe. After a brief scene where all the kids decide to peace the fuck out because it's an alien spaceship with a giant talking head, Jason tells them before they all leave that he's coming back tomorrow to start training and be a ranger. All the writing in this movie is so bad, every line exists so a character can have a dramatic moment or a one-liner that never lands.
Sorry, Bumblebee!
Why are you the way that you are?
So they all come back the next day, and we get a massive training montage of them fighting and becoming a team. Now, during all of this, they keep trying to morph, which is how they get their armor, and through morphing, the wall that's holding Zordon will allow him to come back to life. But because this is a PG-13 reboot, the movie doesn't want to show you or spend the money on having any of them in their suits. Yeah, it's one of those, the hero doesn't get the iconic suit until the last 10 minutes of the movies, but we'll get to that in a little bit. After some time has passed training, Haterbot shows them the Zords, and because we need some tension and drama within the group, Zach takes one of them for a joyride, and when returning it, almost kills the entire group. This makes Jason mad enough to punch him, and during their fisticuff scuffle, Billy steps in and morphs with his armor. Zordon gets all pissy because not only are they fighting with themselves, but they also still can't morph, and he tells them to just all go home. That night, the 5 Rangers stay up in the mines and take turns telling each other about their tragic backstories, and this helps them all connect and get closer. That night, Rita visits Trini and tells her if she sells out the other Rangers and tells her where the crystal is, she'll let Trini live. She immediately tells the other Rangers what's going on, and even though they can barely fight, don't have their armor, and are really bad at everything they do, they all decide to go fight Rita anyways. This goes horribly wrong and ends with Billy dying. They take his body all the way back to Zordon, and through the power of friendship and tears, they are able to unlock the morphing grid, and instead of bringing himself back, Zordon brings Billy back instead. Now that it only took one of them dying for them to finally understand how to be people who care about each other, they suit up and go after Rita for the final showdown. What I don't understand about this movie is why they wait until the last 20 minutes of a 2-hour-long runtime to show the armor.
Show me to me, please.
They spend most of the movie trying to morph, and it's not until after Billy is killed that they are finally able to learn how to activate their armor. But why? Why are you making us wait for the one thing we're all here to see? There's no action before the final fight, and what's worse, the final fight doesn't even involve them fighting hand to hand. The whole thing takes place with them inside of their Zords. So why did you make us wait for this one scene and no payoff? I hate that modern reboots do this trope of waiting until the last act or the final scene to give the main characters their iconic costume.
You're gonna give me what I want, or I'm gonna continue to hurt people you love!
Just give it to us and show us Power Rangers being Power Rangers. Not this sad teenage drama crap where they all hate each other until they decide they're best friends. And even the final fight is lame. It's just them and their Zords quipping about and fighting generic and poorly CGI'd enemies. Not to mention the very obvious and jarring product placement where the crystal is, which is under a fucking Krispy Kreme. I just can't with this movie. It's so dumb. Why did I watch this? During the final fight, Jason ends up saving his dad because his dad is a major moron and was driving around downtown looking for his son while Rita and a gigantic golden monster is destroying the town. The big gold monster Goldar eventually overpowers the Zords and pushes them into a giant hole where the crystal is hiding. They end up forming the Megazord and defeat Goldar and also slap Rita into space, which I will admit was probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. Just look at these wonderful special effects. Happily ever after, the end. I hated this. This movie made me sigh out loud multiple times and was a major snooze fest. There's also a post-credits scene for the Green Ranger, but who cares? On top of that, this movie doesn't offer anything to keep you invested. All the characters are unlikable, and every line out of their mouth is them trying to be edgy, but it only comes across as cringy. Zordon is a prick for most of the movie, and Alpha 5 was so annoying, I wanted to slap him into space. The only highlight is the fact that Elizabeth Banks put in a good performance as Rita, but she's barely on screen, so it's not even worth it. A year before this movie came out, a Power Rangers fan film came out on YouTube, and it's really good and a solid take on a gritty story involving these characters. That's what I think this movie wanted to be, but I can't imagine fans of Power Rangers wanting to watch 1 hour and 45 minutes of teenagers being the worst, only to get a wet fart of a final battle. I'd rather watch that weird Netflix Legacy sequel where they brought back all the middle-aged Power Rangers and then used stunt doubles for the suit scenes because 50-year-old men aren't in the same shape as they once were. Either way, Power Rangers 2017 has morphed itself straight into just plain garbage. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my video series on the Bad Boys movies. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you'd like to see me cover in the future.